Bonjour, hello, and welcome to the end of season wrap up of Tiki Talka. I'm a disappointed Liverpool fan. That's a moderately happy United fan. And here's a quick preview of what we're talking about today.
Who'd you have for your flop of the year?
At $125 million, 8 caps. Alexander Isak.
For the type of money that Liverpool paid to get that small of end product from him, that's why I have him in my flop of the year.
Isak had 3 goals.
He broke his leg. What are you talking about, bro?
Nothing to say about the guy who was 70 million pounds, scored 2 goals all season.
Jack Grealish was a stud. And Pep's terrorist nonsense football is what killed Jack Grealish.
Do you guys think he'll move on to a bigger club than Villa?
You're seeing one of the more tactically advanced coaches in the Premier League.
To consistently punch above their weight over the past couple seasons, it's been nothing short of spectacular.
You'd have to really consider Chaka being in that player of the year.
You can make an argument that his individual career skyrocketed since he left Arsenal.
I don't know how anybody else could think that there was a better signing in the Premier League this season.
We talk about how players, they're good on a mid-table team or a B-side team, and then they go up to an A-side and they just don't fulfill it. Well, I think he's been fulfilling it very well.
All right, guys, so as you can see, we're going to be going over the end of season awards today. We have a few guests on the pod. It may look familiar. We've seen Sam, Justin, and Cam before. So today we're going to go over 6 categories, and each of them will be giving their picks for who they think should win those categories. So Sam is going to be our resident Liverpool fan. Justin will be our resident Aston Villa fan, and Cam will be our Spurs fan. Let's go ahead and get started. So we'll go with our player of the year. We'll mix up the order. So Cam, why don't we start with you on this one? Who do you have for your player of the year?
This was kind of a tough one. I tossed and turned, but I put Bruno Fernandes. Broke the record for most assists in a single season. He ended with 21, 8 goals to go along with it. Hurts me a little bit to say it's a Man U player, but you can't not recognize what he's done this season. He had the most assists, the most expected assists, chances created, open play chances created, accurate passes into the box, big chances created, and open play, big chances created. And when you see something like that, it's hard to not recognize it. So that's who I had for player of the year.
Hey, at least you didn't put Arsenal.
Yeah. I figured some people could say Declan Rice or someone
My
else.
God, no.
I know. I didn't, don't get me wrong. Even though I'm a Spurs fan, I'm not gonna be one of those people who's biased and says that, they don't have good players or whatnot. But, like I said, I just think in terms of everything that he's done throughout the year, I think Bruno Fernandes for me was clear cut the player of the season.
All right, sounds good. And how about you, Justin? Who do you have for your player of the year?
I was going to say Bruno Fernandes as well. Just killed it this season when it comes to just performance and playing. I can't stress enough. I think that he was definitely top of the tier for this season.
Look at that. I'm sure it's warming your heart, huh, Joey? 2 votes for United.
And I'm just going to let Sam answer the question.
All right, Sam, as the non-biased Liverpool fan, where are you going?
No, definitely biased. I wouldn't even give anything to Man U. I actually went with Haaland on this. When you're winning scoring titles, you have 27 goals. You're leading goals and assists, average rating of 7.6, above 25 expected goals for the season. As somebody who didn't want Arsenal to win, Haaland was my only hope to sit here and be like, keep scoring. I hate your tap-ins, but keep tapping them in. He did 27 goals with only 3 PKs. I think that needs to be noted too. Like, everybody's known since he's come over, he's a goal-scoring machine. But if it's not going to be Bruno, you're going to give it to the guy who is a difference maker on the field week in and week out. And aside from a draw to Everton, which is extremely sad, Man City was in that hunt the whole time, and they're not doing it without him.
Couldn't just give it to us, huh?
No, never. Never anything easy over here.
Joey, I feel like you know the truth. I think you know it's Bruno.
If City had won the league, I think you have to give it to probably Bernardo or Haaland, just based on how well they played this season. But since it is Arsenal and no one in Arsenal played particularly well, they just were efficient defensively and would just bag 1 goal and lock it down. It kind of has to go to the guy who played 1 game a week for the majority of the season. Bruno played well. He played very, very well this season. Good for him for having, I think it was 17 set-piece assists for most of his assists to break the Premier League record. So good for him.
I'm surprised nobody picked VAR. as the player of the season. Looks like or
No,
Arsenal.
that'd probably be goal scorer of the season or own goal for Arsenal.
All right, let's move on to the flop of the year. So, Justin, why don't we start with you?
Tyreek Mitchell. He just didn't really do it for me. He didn't get a high volume of minutes. It was a big signing and just didn't perform. Didn't perform at all.
Fair enough. It's been an up and down season from Palace.
Palace, they're bad now. I
Yeah.
would consider them pretty bad compared to where they've been. But yeah, Mitchell's been equally as bad.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been no favor's been done for him, and he's really done himself no favors.
And Sam, how about you? Who do you have for your flop of the year?
I think this should be a surprise to anybody. At $125 million, 3 goals, 8 caps. Alexander Isak can't do it for me. It's been this shiny gold trophy that I think a lot of Liverpool fans have wanted for a long time. But what just occurred throughout the year, injuries, wasn't prepared to play at all. I don't even think he gets 8 starts. And I think he had 11 total appearances in the Prem. I don't even think he gets 8 starts if Hugo doesn't snap his Achilles. I'm hoping that with him in shape next year that there could be a great duo up top. But for the price I was paid and the fact that we got him instead of getting a Gahey and not having a great center back to be with Virgil, he has to be my flop, both for just his individual performances and lack of playing time, but also with what else it means in the giant ecosystem of what occurred.
All right, and how about you, Cam? Who do you have for your flop of the year?
I'll keep it going with Sam's trend of Liverpool players, but I didn't say Isak. I said Florian Wirtz. For up to 115 million euros or pounds you paid for him. He had great seasons with Leverkusen and Xabi Alonso. Last year, he had right around 30 goals and assists across all competitions, and he only managed about 15 this year. Now, do I give him some leniency because he's coming to a new team and under a new manager? Yeah, sure. But for a player like that, when you're spending that kind of money, I would think that you would want to build the team around him and have the ball go through him. He just looked lost. I don't know if that's due to a new league, a new coach, a new system, but for the type of money that Liverpool paid to get that small of end product from him, that's why I have him in my flop of the year.
That one hurt a lot. Flo got a lot of flack this season because he was essentially the focal point, the entire creative spark of the team, and it's hard to be creative when you're playing with a bunch of mouth breathers, especially when you're playing out wide on the left when you should be right in the middle of the park. But I can see why Flo gets shouted. I can see why Tyreek gets shouted. Isak hurts me a little bit, Sam. But no one has anything to say about Noni Madueke? Nothing to say about the guy who was 70 million pounds, scored 2 goals all season? Nothing about Liam Delap, Alejandro Garnacho?
We dropped 500 milli this offseason to
Nah, dude,
barely compete for
At least these
European
guys
football.
scored, bro. These guys scored and contributed. You're telling me Liam Delap is a better signing than Isak?
Isak had 3 goals.
He
didn't
broke
play
his
for half the
leg.
year.
What are you talking about, bro?
The
He
front half
broke
this
his
season he
leg.
didn't play. The back half this season he didn't play. I
He
sat
broke
here,
his
had him up on my mantle for the dude to not even see field time.
He broke his leg.
It's going to continue to happen. We spent 125 million on used goods at this point. That's what it looks like.
yeah,
How can you not be
he's always
biased
had
to
these
look at
injury
it?
problems, but I think to say Isak is a worse signing than Madueke or Garnacho or Delap is just...
Well, when you take it into the grand scheme of everything, we could have had Mark Gahey. We had signed Flo. We had signed Hugo. We had signed both set of backs, and we
I don't
still
think
go
us
drop
signing
that
Isak is the
130.
reason why we didn't get Gahey. I think Edwards and Hughes are
So you're
just trying
slow
to be
walking
cute.
it to get a $130 million deal through the window, and you leave the best center back on the market on just sitting.
They've been cute.
Nah, it was too cute.
There's a couple things I'll say. Compared to the expectations that Liverpool had with this window, and especially Isak, I kind of have to lean with Sam on this one because 150 mil to basically not be used, that's just money down the drain. Yes, I get he broke his leg, so there's only so much he can do. However, still 150 mil. It has to be a loss, even if it's not his fault.
I can't wait for him to break the goal scoring record next season, and we all just come back here and say, "Oh wow, look at this! This guy Isak's pretty good, huh?" No, that's not even a yellow, dude. That's not even a yellow.
He's going to break the goal scoring record? Like nonsense.
Did I stutter?
No way he's going to break it.
Hey man, I believe in my boys. What about you?
Sesko ain't breaking it. We had 2 Liverpool shouts in there, though, guys. That's saying something about your window.
Well, I think it says something about our manager. Sorry, coach.
Cam, I'm actually glad that you brought up Wirtz because I don't know if you've seen some of the clips that we put out there, especially Joey's take on Florian Wirtz. If you guys haven't, Joey says that Florian Wirtz is going to be a future Ballon d'Or winner, and he's twice the player Lamine Yamal is ever going to be.
Yes.
Anybody here agree with that?
So it's a bit of a stretch. I'll believe it when I see it. He's going to be a great player. He's got it in him. You saw it at Leverkusen.
I think that's all the way down to slot. When Flo was at Cologne breaking through at 16, 17 years old, this guy was the talk of the town in Germany. He's more highly rated than Musiala throughout that entire country. He teared his ACL. He's come back and still dominated. And then they go invincible with Leverkusen. He's still the heartbeat of Germany. Every time he leaves Liverpool, this guy is amazing, dude. He scores or assists in every single game he plays for Germany. I truly believe it is the tactics. He watches runs off the ball. This is every manager's dream. Like, you want someone like this who just sees the game 4 steps ahead of it. He's that good, dude. I'm convinced he's still going to be a Ballon d'Or winner. He's going to be better than Yamal. For sure, no doubt in my mind.
I almost wonder if he falls into a theme with players coming from the Bundesliga to the Premier League and not being able to adapt to it.
I mean, the Bundesliga is not good, but players have come over and been just as fine. Chelsea signed players from Bundesliga that are solid. Ibu came right from the Bundesliga and was very good at the start of his Liverpool career. It's the manager, dude. I don't think any league is that bad where it's a huge jump. I think that bald Brendan Rodgers is killing our club. That's where I'm at.
All right. So now let's move on to the manager of the year. And I have a feeling it's not going to be anybody in Merseyside unless it's David Moyes. But Sam, why don't we start with you? Who do you have for your manager of the year?
So I actually thought a lot about this one, and I decided to actually go a different route. But Libri at Sunderland, one of my stories of the season, stadium life the last 10 to 15 years have been pretty rough. They were in serious financial situation. The fact that not only did they get promoted, but they got into European football too. So you got to stop and give somebody their flowers on that type of push.
That's a solid shout, man. I think everybody had them pegged to go down. And that signing of Granit Xhaka was a good one. It's been really difficult to beat at the Stadium of Light. To snub Chelsea on the last day to knock them out of European contention. It's a really good shout. How about you, Cam? Who do you have for your manager of the year?
I did think of Labrie. He was in there. I could have given it to Arteta, but my pick is Areola from Bournemouth. He got them to 6th place, which is their highest ever Premier League finish. He got them European football for the first time in the club's history, and to consistently punch above their weight a little bit over the past couple seasons. It's been nothing short of spectacular. He lost pretty much his entire back line and their best forward in January. So with where they finish and what they did this year with the players they lost, that's why I have him as my pick.
He's probably manager of the year for me too, maybe behind Emery, just because Villa's been pretty good all year. They won a European competition, but for Bournemouth to have European football for the first time in history and to lose basically anyone who's good from their squad and still be competing at this high level, that shows how good at the manager this guy really is.
Yeah, I think it says something about limited resources, being able to punch above your weight. And over the past couple of years, we've seen those managers move on to bigger clubs.
Yeah, the managers on the lower end are getting better and better, man. They're not just some guys who just want to set up shop, have 10 guys playing the ball, and just try to win on counterattacks. They want to really play football now. I think it's a great thing.
All right. Let's see if we can keep the theme going. Justin, who do you have for your manager of the year?
You probably already know this, but it's going to be Unai Emery. I think he took this team and he made them punch giants. So I feel like that's just where he is. He's tactically sound on defense, and he kind of really does flex that offense with Ollie Watkins.
This guy seems to be the king of Europa League.
Yeah, he loves this competition, but it looks like there's no more good evenings anymore in Villa. He's got to be out of there.
Do you guys think he'll move on to a bigger club than Villa?
I think he has the potential to. You're seeing one of the more tactically advanced coaches in the Premier League.
Joey and I had a conversation about this the other day where Unai Emery seems to be stuck in the middle between an A and B tier. He's too good for the B tier, but at the same time, dealing with too many egos at once seems to be the downfall. So he's in limbo. As you guys know, he's been at Arsenal, he's been at PSG, did all right, but not amazing. And he's flourishing at some of the mid-tier clubs. I feel like he's ready for a big jump again. But the question is, why would he when he has the keys to the kingdom over at his castle at Villa?
If he wants to win the Champions League and really compete for league titles, he's going to have to move on. But his problem is, can you handle having 2 or 3 big egos in a locker room? And he just has not shown that he can handle that.
Fair enough. All right, guys, let's move on to the overachieving club. So, Cam, we'll start with you on this one. Who do you have for your overachieving club of the year?
I wanted to go with Villa, but I didn't. For this one, I put Brentford. They obviously lost Thomas Frank in the summer. They lost both Mbomo and Vissa and still finish in the top half of the table. At the beginning of the season, they were one of the favorites to get relegated. New manager come in and didn't really spend a whole lot of money, and to end up where they were, I thought it was pretty spectacular.
Let's move on to Justin. Who do you have for your overachieving club of the year?
I'm going with Aston Villa again. You just punched above their weight all season. Out of an 11-game win streak in the Premier League, you had 3 of them against the Big Six. Here's this team that's maybe 1 or 2 big signings away from having an amazing next season.
Is this the Villa of old coming back? Are they going to win a Champions League in the next 5 years? I'm just asking the question, Travis. Put that card away. They've been competing in European football for the past few years. They have heritage. They have money.
You just got done saying how Emery needs to move on because he can't get the big enough players.
I know, but you don't need to go to a huge club to sign big names. You can just recruit smartly.
You can, but you also have to be within not only the EPL's PSR rules, but also European ones.
Well, I agree with Justin. I think Villa's really overachieved this season. They're so financially limited compared to some other clubs.
How about you, Sam? Who do you have for your overachieving club?
My overachieving club's Sunderland. I don't know if it's because I have like a soft spot in my heart for some of these older teams. You bring in that financial composure and you start to see it build over time. But there's no reason they should have ended at 7. There's no reason that should have occurred other than the fact that they had a good game plan. You said it earlier, Travis, going and playing at the Stadium Light was hell for a lot of teams this year. Their fan base is hungry for Premier League football and they expect Premier League football. So to see them getting back to that, and they really did hold their own.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Sunderland, again, good shout. To see them drop 2 relegations in a row and to finally climb back up, it's good to see it. All right, now let's move on to our underachieving club. So, Justin, why don't we start with you on that one?
Yeah, so I had to sit there with my Tottenham friend for a season and watch them absolutely blow out. Even yesterday morning, I woke up, I walked over, and he's just biting his nails. And that's how it went all season long. That's how it felt. I'm sorry, Cam, but yeah, it was Tottenham.
What would have been the bigger shock? Leicester winning the Premier League or Spurs going down?
Leicester winning the league.
Yeah, Fox is winning the Prem.
All right, and let's move on to Sam's. Who do you have for your underachieving club of the year?
I'm sorry, Cam, I'm going to be going down the same route. But before, I do have one honorable mention to the Hammers, because honestly, with how much trash talk these online hooligans talk on Twitter and how big of a hooligan group they have, go get relegated to play championship football. That's an honorable mention because honestly, you're a joke of an organization. But mine will be Tottenham. At this point, like, they need to go spend money. They're going to be looking at this relegation fight instead of title fight if they don't decide to get off the checkbook. They need to start signing checks and get after it. Because at the end of the day, they sell a lot of jerseys. They get a lot of revenue. They're a club that can spend money and not have to sell players.
I don't think that they have horrible players. You look at some of the ones that are there, they should be competing for European spots. So what's the missing link?
The board.
Yeah, the board.
It's always been the board and the recruitment. I think you can count on one hand the number of clubs in the Premier League who can spend money and not really have to worry about PSR rules. Tottenham probably being one of the closest because of the way that Daniel Levy ran it. I think we'll sell quite a bit this year because I think De Zerbi's going to want to shake things up and get rid of a lot of people who don't want to be there.
So before we move on to your pick there, Cam, I wanted to ask you something real quick. Knowing what you know now, do you think it was right to sack Daniel Levy when you did?
We didn't even sack him. He decided to leave. I had a love-hate relationship with him because he ran the club more like a business than a football club, which was annoying because he would penny pinch over deals and would drag these negotiations on for so long when we lost players because of that. But I wish we would have kept him, to answer your question.
Makes sense. So are you going with Spurs as your underachieving club?
No, I won't. I thought about them, to be honest with you. Yes, they underachieved for sure, but I don't think they were the most underachieving club. I went with Chelsea. They finished 10th in the Premier League, no European football next year. Their club's kind of becoming a running gimmick, which is probably a bit of a hypocrite statement coming from a Spurs fan. But with all the money that they spent to get all these new players, a new manager, I just don't think it's not anywhere where they wanted to be. So that's why I've got them in there for my pick.
I'm surprised that nobody said Liverpool. This is not a rage bait thing, okay? Before you go crazy, Joey.
It's pretty easy to say Liverpool with money spent. They were the defending champions, but contextually, given what's gone on during preseason, this squad has not looked like the Liverpool team that anyone saw last year. But I think I have to agree with Cam on his pick because they had probably the hottest coaching prospects in the entire world. And Maresca, City wanted him, Madrid wanted him. I mean, people wanted this guy so bad. And then City talking to Maresca saying, hey, do you want to come here? Do you want to be our manager? That's happening during the season. That's pretty wild. You beat PSG in the summer. Okay, now we look like a real team. You have João Pedro. You have a very, very deep midfield, and you do absolutely nothing all season. You create such a toxic environment that Maresca says, I'm out of here. I'm just going to leave. You don't have to pay me because I know City's going to come get me. And he's right. City's coming to get him. They've spent all this money. The £1 billion bottle jobs is accurate. It may hurt Chelsea fans to hear, but they spent a lot of money on a lot of players and they can't fit in the locker room and they can't play together. It's got to be Chelsea's.
You know, one club you guys can't say is this one right here.
Well, because, I mean, it's pretty easy when you don't play in any competitions all year. So,
well, Chelsea will know next season what that's like. All right. Now let's move on to the final category. Sam, we'll start with you on this one. Who do you have as your overall best signing of the season?
This should be no surprise to anybody on this call because I'm wearing his jersey right now. The French phenom, Hugo Ekitike. If there is any happiness that I saw this season, it was how good this kid is, honestly. 23 years old. We paid 80, probably saw him 100 today. 11 goals, 4 assists, expected goals at 10. I don't know how anybody else could think that there was a better signing in the Premier League this season. From day one, he looked primed and honestly looked like he might be the best player in the league. His ability to control a game and be a difference maker. And that's hard for a young guy coming into the Prem.
Now, Sam, has Ekitike been your best player at Liverpool this season?
No, Dom. It has to have been Dom. Yeah. I think anybody who watched knows it was Dom because, like, I think he had, 8 or 7 goals or assists on free kicks. Dom's unbelievable. I already hear the Madrids and everybody else calling for Dom.
All right. Now, Cam, who do you have for your best signing of the year?
I want to Granit Xhaka from Sunderland. For what Xhaka did with Sunderland, especially getting newly promoted, they signed a ton of new players over the summer, and they had a lot of guys who probably didn't have a ton of Premier League experience, or they were just on the younger end. To have someone like that who has his prestige and experience in the Prem to hold everything together and be that glue for that club, I think the impact that he had was unreal.
Good shout, man. Liverpool has played poor compared to their standards. You still have a rock star, all-star team. Can't really say the same for Granit Xhaka. So for him to kind of carry the team, at least in the first half of the season like he did, speaks wonders.
I think what's cool about Xhaka is that, I mean, he kind of got booted from Arsenal. That's when he was last in the Premier League. He was captain. He got booed constantly, and they just kind of just forced him out. It was a toxic ending to his time in England. And he comes back to Sunderland, and he still got it, man. Xhaka was never a world beater, but he's the machine in the center of the park. He's going to do all the dirty work that you need him to do. He's going to make the right pass. It was a brilliant signing from Sunderland to get this guy. Most newly promoted clubs want to get a young guy who's super exciting and you want to score goals. They said, no, we need someone who's been here before that's going to make us rock solid. I think you'd have to really consider Xhaka being in that player of the year. He was just that good. He's not flashy, but it's about who's the most important to their team. And Xhaka is the most important player to his squad.
You can make an argument, too, that his individual career skyrocketed since he left Arsenal because he was at Leverkusen for a couple of years. They had the invincible year. Almost had the treble at Leverkusen. And then he comes back here, and now he's the main man doing wonders over at Sunderland. All right. And then let's go to the last one here. Justin, who do you have for your best signing of the season?
Semenyo, because he was killing it in Bournemouth, and then he got transferred over to Man City, and then just started crushing goals for Man City. I think that he fit really, really well into Pep Guardiola's system, and he took the next step. We talk a lot about how players, they're good on a mid-table team or a B-side team, and then they go up to an A-side and they just don't fulfill it. Well, I think he's been fulfilling it very well, and I think that he's a great fit for Man City. So I think he's just absolutely crushed it this season.
Yeah, to be honest, he doesn't look out of place there at all.
It's just a perfect system player for Pep Guardiola's team, and you're like, damn.
Yeah, sometimes when people go to different teams, they have that transition period, especially going into a Pep team. You look at Jack Grealish.
Jack Grealish and Pep Guardiola that's a whole other thing. Sam, take it away.
Pep killed that man. Jack Grealish was a stud, and Pep's terrorist nonsense football is what killed Jack Grealish. He ruined an English career right there.
I wholeheartedly agree. Watching him on Villa and then watching him go to City, it's like totally different player. And you're like, oh, what the heck happened? Like, where is he? Why isn't he on? Like, he's so good. And I think because Pep Guardiola is such a system player and Jack Grealish isn't really very systematic, that it just bumped heads. And I think Grealish is better off not being on Man City, and I think that it was the better call to leave.
I'm glad Semenyo has not fallen into that trap yet, where he's still very much himself. Turkey is still very much himself, but that's just Pep, dude. If you are kind of good, but you're not good enough to start for my team, I'm just going to sign you and waste your career.
All right, guys, well, that's all we have time for today. Thanks again for the guests coming on, Sam, Cam, and Justin. Tell us what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about their selections? If you guys agree with them, disagree with them, go ahead and subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. We'll catch you on the next episode of Tiki Talka.